Toontown has definitely had a lot of interesting pieces of merchandise. Like, remember when subscribing to Toontown, they would give you stuff like this? It was pretty cool, since when you subscribe to their game, they would give you stuff like cards and mini magazines, something similar to like Game Informer and Nintendo Power. It was definitely really cool, and I've never really seen any other game do this before.
Back in 2003, Disney did something really interesting once you bought a membership to Toontown Online. You would get trading cards and pamphlets in the mail each month. This was pretty cool. You could get cards of your favorite characters and info what's going on through the game physically with these pamphlets. Even though you'd have to wait for the info to come in the mail each month, it was finally cool to actually get it. That's not even scratching the surface with the amount of merch with this game. Pins, posters, bobbleheads, figures, stickers, mousepad, clocks, yeah, Toontown clocks, cameras, notebooks, patches. It was safe to say that Disney was branching out on what they can put Toontown on. Some of the earliest forms of Toontown merch was the Series 1 trading cards Disney would give out. I sadly have no merch of this, but I know you can definitely buy this on Toontown Co. for $10, that's a lot. However, just looking at its art style, it is way more detailed than Series 2 and 3. With the tunes and cogs here, they look really well done. They would even have some other things like Toontown's Greatest Moments, where it showed some stuff about the game. I also really like the playgrounds especially, because I have this weird idea that this was the original vision for the playgrounds. It probably wasn't though, but I really do like the art for it. Series 1 was a pretty cool series, and then a year later, they came out with another one, Series 2. Now, Series 2 goes for a completely new art style, but it is a little less detailed. Now, that's not a bad thing. It looks like a Saturday morning cartoon, if anything. It's definitely something that fits Toontown. While they got rid of the playground cards, these new ones are pretty well done. Some actually have info on the game, like the origin, how the name generator works, monkeys getting introduced, where Doodles came from, Black Cat Day, and much more. Toonography pretty much continues what Series 1 did with their other cards, like the Shopkeepers. Some I own here are Smudgy Mascara, Shelly Seedway, and Artichoke. They aren't anything too special, but it's definitely cooler to know about these shopkeepers when we only see them briefly in the game. It's pretty much what Series 2 is known for, pretty much additional information with Toontown in the form of these cards, which I really do like. But if we're talking about Toontown cards that I'm pretty sure nearly every player owned when they had a subscription to the game, was Series 3. Series 1 was ran from 2003 to 2004, and Series 2 was ran from 2004 to 2005. However, Series 3 lasted from 2005 to 2011, so it was pretty much the most well-known. I easily have a ton of these cards because of my sisters who would have a subscription to the game back in the day. The series ditches some things. No more Toontown Greatest Moments, no more Toontown Graphy. However, we just have cogs and gags and fishes. The series cut some corners as well with some of the cards. They would literally just redraw some of the cards from Series 2 to Series 3. Some of these examples being the Robber Baron card, the Nurse Shark card, the Devil Ray, the Flower Pot, Magnet, Bamboo Cane, Lipstick, and these are just a handful of examples. Oh my god, I sound like a damn Toontown nerd saying that. Now that's not the entire series. There is original artwork for most of these cards, but they did end up cutting some corners from this part. Now, the updated cards look way better. However, with each series doing its own newer thing, it kind of feels odd not to do something new. When owning these cards, I try my best to keep them in the best shape possible because some of my cards get damaged pretty easily. Thankfully, I do have duplicates of them, but I didn't get so lucky with some of them. I sometimes wonder how I got like this, like, why did my telemarketer card look like that? Also, why are there bite marks on my Gladhander card? What, did I bite my cards when I was young?
Oh, what, like you guys haven't before? Some of my newsletters are definitely in a little bit of weird shape, like I think water spilled all over this since you can see a lot of white marks on it. And also with this newsletter, it's been cut up all over the place, and oh, speaking of newsletters,
Toontown Online also did stuff with newsletters. Along with the cards, they would give out some pamphlets. In 2004 to 2005, it was just a small piece of paper on one side having info on the next update with Toontown, and the other having a mini poster. This lasted from 2003 to 2006 when they made it much more bigger with 4 pages. They had some new stuff with the pamphlets each side with its own unique thing. The posters here are actual posters having art of the characters or a group shot of the characters in-game.
the newsletters also had some pretty neat stuff in it. Like, did you know before the Pandora leak they hinted at HD cog textures? Or even here when they hinted that Cog Nation was coming up? It was definitely cool that they were still hyping up the players even though the development time was pretty slow. It was kind of a neat bonus for players to look forward to.
Now going on to other Toontown merch, I think some of the most well known is the Flunky bobblehead. I love it so much, but I just hate how rare it is. You see, that's the problem with most Toontown merch, or just merch with any old franchise. They aren't produced anymore, and can cause a higher demand with it. Like the Flunky bobblehead goes for prices like... It's still indeed a very well-made statue, and has gained a bit of a cult following for people wanting to own it. We also have the usual suspects when it comes to any IP: shirts, hat, patches, notebooks, lanyards, drawstring bags, magnets, cameras, clocks. Yeah, clocks, totally something every game IP has. We also have some stuff like stickers, which I did actually get my hands on. I don't know if I'll ever use this anytime soon, but these stickers are very high quality. Of course, with merch, everyone goes to the Toontown CDs produced by Sony back in the 2000s. These were another option on buying Toontown. Rather than installing it through the website and having a membership with it, you can just buy the game and play it from there on the computer. Also, have you seen the pins for this? They look really well done. They had cogs, Toons Racing. These were definitely really cool. I really liked the Corporate Raider, Big Cheese, the Bloodsucker, and Flippy especially, because these were really cool. We also had some lesser quality ones as well, just a picture of the VP, Doodles, Race Car, Drop Gags, and some other tunes. You might think we're done here, but have you seen the merch with Toontown in other regions? Yeah, Toontown actually has merch in different areas, like Japan. Japan had this sticker sheet, woo, but one of the most notorious things that was just recently found were these Toontown figures. Now, if we're looking back, Toontown's never really gotten any minifigures in its merch. Probably the closest we've ever gotten was the Flunky bobblehead. Nobody knew this existed until someone named Green Cat found out about it and bought it himself. Now, the first three were just regular Disney characters, Mickey, Minnie, and Donald, but what definitely got everyone's attention was the Yes Man and Flippy figure. It's honestly a miracle he found out about this and even got them himself, since hardly anybody knew about this. Also, they had a different style newsletters. I believe this was for the UK and was called Toon Club. They had way more detail put into them, and they had fun with themselves on what they made with it, since it did look like a lot of attention was put into them. There were tons and tons of merch regarding with Toontown, however, the story sadly comes to an end around 2010 to 2011. In 2010 of January, it was announced that they would be discontinuing the newsletters in favor of Toon News, a digital place to get news from in-game. It definitely seemed like the way of the future, like why produce newsletters when that cost way more money, when you could do something for less cheap in-game. After this, they gave people one last newsletter, being this double-sided poster in May.
Yeah, this was the final thing Disney released regarding the member mailing, and it was definitely a little sad since other companies like Nintendo Power were discontinuing their magazines, and it was a little upsetting since I guess companies just didn't see worth it making these anymore.
Around 2011 to 2012, Disney didn't really make that much merch for the game. However, there was some merch in 2013, being a 10th anniversary pin to Toontown Online. I don't think this ever officially got released due to how scarce it is finding one. I've heard there were only a few made and given to select people. Thankfully, it was given to someone who actually collected pins and gave high quality screenshots of them. If I had to guess why this never released, it was probably because around Toontown's 10th anniversary, the game was starting to get a lot less popular, and that same year the game was shutting down. I think around the time the pins were being made, the announcement of Disney shutting down Toontown was about to happen, and they didn't really see a purpose of releasing them in stores. Possibly, I don't know if you would count this, but we had this Toontown Online certificate, probably the last thing officially made by Disney. After the game's closure, they gave this to fans to print out for Toontown closing on September 19th. It was the end with Toontown Online merch, and it was really nice to see all of this cool stuff Disney made for Toontown Online back in the day. But if you think we're done... Yeah, did you know that fans were making their own pieces of merch with Toontown? Back in the day, someone named Tricky made people's tunes as statues. They've gotten pretty mixed reviews, but from the videos shown here, they look pretty decent and well sculpted. She's also made doodles as well, which are the same quality of the statues. Something else people made were Toontown plushes. You see, Toontown never really had plushes. Sure, there was rumors about a Big Cheese plush and how people swore in their life that existed, but there's no evidence like that. However, people made their own plushes on Flippy, Cogs, a cat, horses, and they look pretty decent. Like the figures though, they have sold out a little while ago. However, unlike the figures, I actually have one.
I don't think I really needed to buy this.
It's not the best one ever made, but it's definitely serviceable. One thing I really don't like about it is how the pants always keep falling down, but it's not really a huge deal. I can just stitch that on, but other than that, this is actually a pretty cool fan-made plush. There's also a ton of these fan-made Toontown stuff, like this awesome Toontown poster. Yeah, that's right. There's a ton of these fan-made stuff like shirts, stickers, pins on Redbubble. We have the Toontown pins that were made by Toontown.co. It's pretty well made, like stuff with most modern pins. I really do enjoy it. And finally, well, I don't know if you can really consider this Toontown merch, but it does involve it in a way. The Quackity U2s. Quackity was always someone who was always in the Toontown community, but kind of just left a few years ago. But his U2 still has a duck, which was from Toontown. So in a way, it kind of is, but not really. But it still is pretty cool. After the closure of Toontown Online, some games continued the tradition from Toontown Online with member mailing. Starting off with the most well-known, we have Toontown Rewritten's member mailing. They've had this ever since 2015, and starting off with it, they had Slappy, Alec Tin, and Director of Ambush cards. This was very heavily based on the 2014 elections to Toontown Rewritten. These cards are pretty well done. They try to be a continuation of Disney's cards, calling it Series 4. We also get this sheet of paper, which is basically a thank you for playing the game and about the elections. Nothing too great, but it was the start of something cool because next year in 2016, they went a little all out. We have 3 cards, a postcard, and stickers. Flippy is our next card, and I really enjoy this one. It has pretty good art of him, and even a fun fact, that original background was going to be the new Toon Hall for Toontown Rewritten, but it ended up getting scrapped. The Robber Baron is new, and he's looking pretty great. I really enjoy what they did to him, and we even also have Surly as well. We have these stickers, and these look okay, I guess, but very off style with the rest of the stuff here, and we even got this postcard. Same deal with 2017, 18, and even 19. I really enjoy these cards as everything here is basically what Disney would have done if they continued with the series. However, 2019 was more so for Toontown Rewritten since it was all just new content from the game like the Selbot Field Offices, Ricky Morel, the Dr. Fizzentons, and the Laugh Meter. I really like that Toontown Rewritten goes all out with these things, like they didn't have to do this, like the other servers as well, which I'll get into. The stuff they give out is absolutely free. I really do like these mini posters, or whatever you call them, since they've been great ever since 2017. Like the newer stickers they made. If you asked me that this was made by Toontown Online, I might actually believe you. Also, they didn't stop it at member mailing cards, they even did posters ever since 2016. The 2016 one is alright, it's definitely off style for the game, but 2017 was when they made way better ones. They then continue it with updates like 2018 having the field offices, 2019 having the silly meter, and whatever the hell 2020 was. They also made some pretty cool merch with stuff in-game, like a cogbuck. What also is cool about this is there's this QR code which you can scan it for a scavenger hunt. They also made an actual sticker book which you can actually write on it. We also have stuff like field office magnets, oh my god. It really comes to show you how much merch they can make off an update that's still being worked on. Then we got some cool stuff like Toontown, poker chips.
I mean, I'm down for some Toontown poker.
We have some promotions on Reddit and Discord, tattoos, they even had mouse pads and 2 variations of them. One being a regular one and one having a Crash Cashbot mouse pad. And some things that weren't really officially made by Toontown Rewritten is promotions from Ada and this really nice card of Smirky Bumper Pop. I really like how similar this card is to Toontown Rewritten's. As well, we even have a Toontown Rubik's Cube and probably the weirdest one of all, Toontown Rewritten board games. Now, the board game and the Rubik's Cube were something you only had to win in a contest. The board games were just Find 4, Just Connect 4, Checkers, which had a Toontown Rewritten checkerboard, and probably the most interesting is Guess Toon, a spoof of Guess Who. They all had their own original box art, their own original board, and they probably made even more than one of all this just for contests in Toonfest. That's some real dedication. I'm sure there's a ton more with Toontown Rewritten, like the 2020 cards that are probably going to get released next year due to COVID. But they've made so much stuff, and they indeed want to continue what Toontown Online did back in the day. However, Toontown Rewritten wasn't the only Toontown game making physical merch, since other servers were doing it as well. Well, kicking this one off first, Toontown Project Altus did indeed have some merch, being this certificate for getting something in-game for attending to their I-60 booth. Toontown Extreme. What's a Toontown Extreme? Toontown Extreme, duh! I don't even know if this was a server, because I only found a little bit about it. Mugs and clothes. I don't know why, but they did. Toontown Offline actually has some stuff. They made some promotions for Operation Duck Hunt, one having completely original artwork, and one being from in-game, which looks really cool. They even made this card in the style of Toontown Online, based off the chairman. I gotta hand it to them, this looks really well done, very close to Toontown Online Series 3 cards. And finally, we have this poster that was originally shown off on Twitter, And I thought as a joke it would be funny to say that I really wanted this badly, and the joke was on me when they actually gave me one. Well, first off, thank you, Benjamin, for sending me this. This actually looks really cool. Second, this is a really bizarre yet very cool piece of merch I own from Toontown. This poster really does describe the craziness of Toontown Offline and what you can do with it. Finally, we have Toontown Corporate Clash. Now, they tried their hand on reviving the newsletters, but they only did it once with one issue, and it was only digital, so I really don't know if you can really count that. However, for their Operation Break the Law update, they actually had some giveaways they did. How you would win was by getting tickets and from giving them to Tutorial Tom. I swear, I tried for weeks and weeks to get tickets to win, but I really had no luck. They had some prizes, being prize pack 1 of one so far. This pack included a mini poster from Operation Break the Law. There's also this sticker sheet with the tunes a part of Break the Law, Loopy's Meatballs, and a Break the Law postcard. But we most certainly can't forget ... And that basically wraps up nearly every piece of Toontown merch out there, whether they were made by Disney, fans, or people that were fans wanting to keep the specialty of having modern Toontown merch. To put it simple, it's very fascinating the amount of merch for this game. They range from cards to clocks to board games.
It was really nice to look over the amount of Toontown merch that was either made or I own because 1, it's a friendly reminder of why I probably still get bullied in high school, and 2, it's always really nice to collect something of your favorite series, whether it be Club Penguin, Five Nights at Freddy's, Minecraft, Funko Pops, anime figures, books, whatever. It's always really nice to collect something of something you really do enjoy, and as long as it's harmless, I'd say go for it. However though, when I was at Toonfest, I took more than I was supposed to take with field office cards. I have like 1 million of them. I'm sorry, Joey.